So thank you so much for having me. This is a really cool program, and I appreciate Stacy for inviting me, and I appreciate all of you for being enthusiastic about the work that we're doing at NASA. And most people, when they think of NASA, they think of rockets and they think of the moon and astronauts, and there's so much more to NASA. And one of the things that I do as I work in heliophysics, and as Stacy mentioned, I am the communications, outreach, and media relations lead, and also I lead our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. And heliophysics is actually the study of the sun and its influence on Earth, our solar system, on out into interstellar space. And we know that the sun touches everything. And beginning in October of this year, we're going to celebrate and explore and experience our sun through an event we are calling the Heliophysics Big Year. Next slide. And so would you be surprised if I told you that our sun is classified as an ordinary star? Nothing special, just average. Yet this ordinary star is responsible for sustaining all living things on Earth, and it's the only star that we know that has this level of responsibility. So if our big, beautiful, life-sustaining star is ordinary, then there is hope for all of us. Our star shows us that you can be ordinary and have an extraordinary impact. And so this image that you're seeing right here is a real image of the sun, and it was captured by our Solar Dynamics Observatory in October of last year. So those dark patches of the sun that make up like the eyes and the mouth, those are coronal holes, and those are regions where fast solar wind gushes out into space. This image went viral, and how it was received and celebrated epitomizes and captures the essence of what the Heliophysics Big Year will do. So our sun brings joy and laughter. You think of the old saying, fun in the sun. It captures our imagination and sparks awe and wonder. And it impacts all of us physically, emotionally, and some believe even spiritually. Next slide. So the motto of the Heliophysics Big Year is the sun touches everything. And the Heliophysics Big Year is a public engagement campaign, and it's designed to promote heliophysics, or the study of the sun and solar science broadly, and make the science and information accessible to all and showcase NASA's heliophysics-related efforts. So we're going to explore and expose the sun's impact on everything, and we're inviting everyone to experience the sun in new and exciting and very intentional ways. So during the Heliophysics Big Year, we're inviting everyone to participate in as many sun science activities as possible leading up to and around solar maximum. So that's from October 2023 of this year. It's going to start with our annular eclipse and run all the way through December 2024, which is more than a year. We're calling it like a baker's dozen year. And what we're going to do, the sun-earth connection is just vital to our lives and society, and influencing a variety of systems here on Earth, such as agriculture, economics, climate change, politics, food and food scarcity, as well as physical, mental, emotional health of humans. We see its influence reflected throughout our culture, in art, music, religion, fashion, sports, and a host of other trends. The sun is a unifying force, and the Helio Big Year is a time where we will focus not only on the magnificent science of the sun, but also how it brings and binds us together. Next slide. So there are three parts to the Heliophysics Big Year. There are the eclipses across the United States. There's the annular eclipse on October 14th of 2023, and then we have a total solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024. And so exciting things are happening in the Helio community with new discoveries, new missions, mission launches, and ways to engage and combine the hard science of heliophysics with the soft science of how it impacts us here on Earth, emotionally and physiologically, socially and mentally, and how it impacts our lives in ways such as I said, communications, agriculture, economics, climate change, and our ability to explore further than we've ever done before. It's our Artemis missions, where we're putting we just announced the next crew for Artemis 2 that are going to the moon. Heliophysics is a big part of that. Solar space weather and solar activity affects our spacecraft, it affects astronauts, and what we do helps protect them from the sun's effects. And then the last kind of circle or tier to this is citizen science. And so NASA's citizen science projects are collaborations between scientists and interested members of the public. And though through these collaborations, volunteers who are known as citizen scientists have helped make thousands of important scientific discoveries. And so we are challenging people to take part in what we call Do NASA Science with NASA Citizen Science as we approach solar maximum. The Heliophysics Big Year is an effort that will inspire and unite us around the one thing that touches us all. It's the great equalizer on Earth, the thing that sustains all life regardless of species, race, ethnicity, pedigree, or socioeconomic status. Next slide. So for the Heliophysics Big Year, the science component, we're talking about all of our science efforts. So the 2 solar eclipses are really magnificent and beautiful and artistic events, but they're also give us an opportunity to do science and gather data within these 2 very special times when the sun does something remarkable. And so we know exactly what time it's going to happen. We know exactly how long we have, and we can take measurements during that time of the annular eclipse and the total eclipse. And we get those measurements in a way that we can't do any other time of the year. And so that's why they're really special, besides just the magnificent beauty that they are. And then we have a mission called Parker Solar Probe. And Parker Solar Probe in 2021 actually did what no human-made object has ever done. It literally touched the sun, or it entered the solar atmosphere for the first time. And it's getting closer and closer to the sun. And December 2024, which is when the Heliophysics Big Year ends, it will end with Parker's record-breaking closest approach to the sun. It will be within 4 million miles of the sun, and that sounds like really far away. But if you think about the sun and Earth as like a football field, and if you think of Earth as one end zone, and if you think of the sun as the other end zone, Parker Solar Probe will be on the 4-yard line. That's how close it's going to get, and we are really excited about that. And we'll go to the next one. So the sun has cycles, and every 11 years, a new solar cycle begins. So over the course of each cycle, the sun transitions from like relatively calm to active and stormy, and then it gets quiet again. And the quiet period is known as solar minimum, and that active and stormy period is called solar maximum, or solar max for short. The last solar max occurred in solar minimum, occurred in December 2019, and it started solar cycle 25. And scientists predict that solar max, or that more active and stormy period, is going to begin in 2025. So understanding the sun's behavior is important. Understanding the cycles and what's normal is so important, because with increased activity comes an increase in space weather events such as solar flares and solar eruptions and coronal mass ejections, which can impact radio communications, electric power grids, navigation signals, as well as posing risks to spacecraft and astronauts. And now we use space and we use signals far more than we did before. And so this solar maximum will be very unique because we've never had this much activity as far as things, launches and things going up into space, and how we use what we call low Earth orbit. And so it's very important for us to understand solar max and understand this charge and this change, and how we can protect life on Earth, and how we can protect our satellites and our astronauts and spacecraft. We'll go to the next slide. So in heliophysics, we have a fleet of missions to help us better understand the sun and to help us predict events and prevent serious impacts on Earth. And each of these are strategically placed throughout the heliosphere. And so if you kind of look at the little grid there, all the way up close, like right next to the sun is Parker Solar Probe. That's the one that touched the sun. We have spacecraft around Earth that study the environment and the atmosphere right around Earth, all the way out to the Voyager spacecrafts, which are beyond our solar system and still taking measurements. Each mission is positioned at a critical and well thought out vantage point to observe and understand the flow of energy and particles throughout the solar system. And together, all of them work together, helping us kind of untangle and understand the effects of our star. And the next slide. And the second component I talked about was the solar eclipses. And solar eclipses occur when the sun, moon, and Earth do a little dance, and they line up either fully or partially. And depending on how they align and where you are on Earth, eclipses provide a unique and exciting view of either the sun or the moon. And so the annular eclipse, which is October 14th of this year, is what we call a ring of fire. And it's the picture kind of on the left, that's a partial like annular eclipse. And this happens when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth. But when it is or near the farthest point from Earth, because the moon is farther away from the Earth, it appears smaller than the sun and doesn't completely cover the sun. And so the result, the moon appears as a dark like disk on top of a larger, brighter disk, and it creates what looks like a ring around the moon. So the moon doesn't completely cover the sun. Now, a total eclipse is happening in April 2024, just 6 months later. And this happens when the moon passes between the sun and the Earth, and it completely blocks the face of the sun. And that's when we get a total eclipse, and it looks like what you see on the right-hand side. And the little pieces of light that you see poking out, that's actually the sun's corona or the solar atmosphere. And this is the only time that we have this view of the sun. And that's from any spacecraft, that's from Earth. This is the best view of the sun where we can physically see the corona the clearest. And so that's why these eclipses are so important to us. And then an interesting thing about 2020, the eclipse in 2024, is this is going to be the last eclipse that we see in the continental United States until 2045. And so these eclipses provide a chance for us all in the continental US to experience an awe-inspiring event together. The sun and the moon, they perform for us, and we will all pause at the same time and enjoy the moment together. And one of the things that's so important about the total eclipse is the path of totality, or the path where you'll see a whole total eclipse. 30 million people live within that path, and 2/3 of the people in the US live within 2 hours driving distance from that. And that is amazing. And with a total eclipse, everyone in the continental United States will at least see a partial eclipse. And so that's a really unique, and just for me, that's a really cool thing, that at the same time, we can all go outside and experience this magnificent event together, either in totality or in, partiality. And we will be like live streaming it. So if you don't live in the path of totality, you'll still get an opportunity to kind of see what we see. We really hope that you get a chance to experience it. And we'll have a lot of events around it, and be distributing solar glasses or eclipse glasses so that you can safely view the sun. Over to the next one. Citizen science is the last component that I kind of talked about. And the concept for the Heliophysics Big Year is actually taken from citizen science. It's actually taken from the birding community. And in the birding community, big year is when during a year, birders will try to see as many species of birds as they can during a year. So the Heliophysics Big Year is when we want you to participate in as many sun science activities as possible, whether it's watching a sunrise or experiencing a sunrise with the palms of your hands, or participating in a citizen science project, or hosting a watch party for the eclipse. And we're going to have so many opportunities and we're creating activities, events, and themes each month of the Heliophysics Big Year to give you ideas and activities from food to fashion to sporting events that you can that folks can participate in or watch, or talk about discussions we want people to have around the sun and politics and economics and how the sun impacts them all, and even climate change. But we really want to be intentional and really focus on the thing that unites us all and how it touches us all while we kind of learn about the science and understand the science. And so for the Heliophysics Big Year, this slide kind of shows how you can track us on social media. Those are all of our social media platforms. We have a website with all of our events that will be happening throughout the country that are NASA sponsored or sponsored by NASA affiliates. And we invite you to join with us and connect to this effort in ways that are organic and fit with what you're already doing. The sun touches everything, and we're excited to coordinate and collaborate with you during the coming months. And for the next slide. And so this is just kind of the timing and the milestones that we have. So we have the build up, which we're in now. We'll have our kickoff event in September, October timeframe, the annular eclipse, which we're gearing up for. Then 6 months later, the total solar eclipse. Parker perihelion kind of caps it off. And then the Heliophysics Big Year officially will end, and then we'll go into in 2025 we'll start entering the solar max, where you'll start seeing lots of solar flares and solar activities, and we're having new missions launching during that time, so the conversation doesn't stop. And then the last thing I have is just the themes to give you an idea of what we're talking about and how we're going to have people engaging in what we're focusing on. So October is going to be all about the annular eclipse and understanding it and activities around there, and then citizen science. And you can kind of see through there all the things that we're doing, from fashion to visual art and performing art. We're going to have a physical activity or physical health campaign in July. August is back to school, so we'll be focusing on events specifically for kids and focusing on kids. We're going to be talking about the environment and sustainability and clean energy and things like that during September. So we have a host of things that we're going to be doing through the Heliophysics Big Year. And with that, I will stop and we can start answering some questions.